And there we go. Hey, welcome to a new edition of Cleanpin. Hope all is well. Played here on from the Bleacher Sports Show and on Anchor, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcasts. Let's put in the audio version here. And we're on Anchor and Spreaker and Google Play. Spotify has joined us as well. Again, this is Cleanpin, talking about the world of professional wrestling, all the news and notes, the comings and goings, AEW, WWE, NWA. Oh, I've got some good news coming out of NWA, as you know, big NWA fan. Impact Wrestling, everything and anything. Do welcome you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It will get you in tune as to when there is a video upload on this channel. We also do cover various sports topics, if you guys like sports as well. So I am your go-to channel, of course. Where do we begin in this past week as far as sports? I think a good place to begin is start with AEW, who I think has had some bit of news in this past week. And we will do Revolution predictions and thoughts and all that good stuff. But first, really wanted to talk about the news of Paul Wight, aka the Big Show, signing with AEW. Wow. I mean, if you would have told me that Big Show would be with AEW, I'd probably be like, nah, no way. No way possible. No way possible. I thought that he was a a lifer, and that Vince really one of Vince's guys, that they would do anything to keep Big Show around. The loyalty hasn't gone anywhere for 20 years, and apparently what happened, they were not able to come to a deal, and here he was signing with AEW. Now, Big Show, as far as Big Show going to AEW, I really don't have a problem with it per se. And meaning that AEW right now, if you look at, and it looks like initially, Paul Wight's role with AEW will be as commentator. They have a new show coming out on YouTube. So now they're at 3 shows here. And he looks like he will be a commentator on that YouTube show with Tony Schiavone. And I think that's a good look. You have every right. You have every right to earn income, and he's transitioning from being a wrestler into a commentator. Why not? Why not transition? You can't be wrestling forever. and it opens up another door. See how he is. Has a contract. Has some time to practice and hone his craft. We've seen wrestlers that have transitioned into commentating, and it's been quite successful. Taz transitioned to commentating. Samoa Joe, although it looks to be temporary, has transitioned and he's done well for himself. So Paul Wight has that right to earn a living. There's also a lot of young talent. And a lot of talent, for that matter. I'd probably tell you maybe even too much talent does AEW have, and that's one of the problems with me for AEW is it always seems to be kind of like rotating, so to speak. You start with a certain wrestler, he's on TV for X amount of weeks, and then he's off for X amount of weeks, and then he's back on, and they pick up the storyline where he left. It seems, that they have a lot of wrestlers. They're trying to get a lot of wrestlers on their main show on AEW on TV. And because of that, there's really no consistency in the storyline, and it's never just goes through. There's always a long pause, long delay. So, I mean, that's the problem with me and AEW. It just... they have too many wrestlers. They rotate. So a guy like Paul Wight, he would be there. He's good for back in the locker room, giving advice, being a producer, helping the young talent, helping people put together a match. So he's good in that regard. A lot of experience that the young wrestlers could pick up from. So for me, that makes sense. It's a good signing. But apparently the news and rumblings is that he's also going to be involved in wrestling at some point. Which, at the age that Paul Wight is, and what can I say? I've seen Paul Wight enough on my screen where I am no longer interested in seeing Paul Wight wrestle. Maybe it's the gazillion heel turn and face turns that we have had in the past in WWE. Now, I know that's not AEW related. AEW, he has a clean slate, a fresh slate. But I've personally have seen enough of Paul Wight. From heel to face, from face to heel to heel to heel to face to face to heel to face to heel to face. Gazillion times. Enough. And just to jump into something real quick, and then we'll jump back to Paul Wight, Big Show. Tony Khan, there's another, rumbling there about who's going to be this, because Big Show did mention that during the Revolution, Paul Wight rather, did mention at the Revolution pay-per-view that there will be a signing of a Hall of Famer type of Hall of Famer worthy individual that will sign during the Revolution pay-per-view. And I was thinking to myself that maybe it's a heel Paul Wight that will sign at the Revolution pay-per-view. You get it, because Paul Wight has turned face and heel a gazillion times. So anyway, and listen, all you AEW guys, don't act like you're excited about seeing a Paul Wight wrestling match. Listen, what are you guys excited to see? Paul Wight versus Brian Cage? Is that the match you want to see? You think that that Paul Wight was wronged in WWE, and he deserves a shot at AEW? He deserves it. He deserves it. So of course he has to be a World Heavyweight Champion. Is that what you're saying now? All of a sudden, there are a gazillion Paul Wight fans coming out of the woodwork because now, well, he's with AEW. Come on, let's kind of dial it back a notch. Let's not let's not be such big fanboys here, and let's just kind of keep everything in perspective, okay? Whenever Paul Wight would be coming down the ring to wrestle on Raw or SmackDown, you guys damn well know that you had enough. You had enough. I'm surprised the knit hat didn't get over that Paul Wight used to always wear. That knit hat for a while there. That was a great idea for merch, I tell you. The knit hat. Surprised it did not get over. So yeah, again, I'm not interested in seeing a Paul Wight wrestle again for in a wrestling ring again. Listen, a lot of people think that, he was disrespected by WWE or embarrassed. I mean, listen, WWE rescued this guy from obscurity, from being in a bad situation, in a sinking ship. In WCW, had a goofy name like the Giant, because ton of wrestlers before him also had that nickname, Giant. He was never going to stick out if it was not for WWE, and the WWE made him stick out. They gave him a name that sticks out from the rest of them, from Big Show, and everyone remembers that name now. Heck, they gave him numerous appearances on TV. He was always on Raw, always on SmackDown, always in, the main events there. Who remembers the tag team with him and Chris Jericho, the Jericho Show, good tag team. Big Show always found himself in the mix as far as the heavyweight championship, right? So can't say that he was really disrespected at all with the company, with WWE, 20 some odd years. And again, maybe there is something that we don't know backstage. Maybe it's the fact of where, we've seen less and less of Big Show, and maybe that was WWE just trying to retire him. And it's not something that he was ready to do. So I could see when he says, oh, that he feels disrespected. I guess I get it. But let's not forget what Vince McMahon did for this guy and made him a household name. When you say Big Show, everyone, as far as wrestling goes, everyone knows who Big Show is. So, he definitely deserves to kind of just take a step back and realize that. And why do they, these always wrestlers, whenever they do their podcasts, whenever they do their vidcasts, always have to act so bitter and so negative to the WWE. It's just like, wow. Like, come on. And like to take cheap pot shots. And I don't know if that's the cool thing to do. And it's all like a ha-ha type of thing. And, when WWE calls again, if they do call, of course, you're always going to pick it up and talk to them. It's only good business. If it's so bad, why would you ever pick up the phone again? I don't know. It's funny, but you wish Big Show the best. I think the role that you should see him on, kind of like what he's been portraying on Dynamite the last couple weeks, is an authority figure. Yeah, I mean that's no, actually, he tried to keep Paul Wight away from the ring at all times. Hold on one second, guys. We'll be right back. Actually, let's do a video here as I take a pause. And we will get into AEW predictions right after this, as I have to take a quick break. Let's see. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, I mean, definitely do hit the like button, hit the notification bell. It would definitely mean a lot. Let's see here. Let's see, guys. East Coast time here. Let's make sure we have. Oh, here we go. Big Show attempts to overpower sumo champion. Take a look at this one. I'll be right back here. Listen to the volume. I can't listen to audio, unfortunately. 1 second, guys. I have to tend to something quickly, real quick.
I'm ready for this. This is a traditional bash show. Grand Sumo tournament here. First ever at WrestleMania. Rocky Bono set again. As is the Big Show. Here we go. Here we go. And he wins. Show. 500 pounders colliding.
Quick hands, huh? You've always got quick hands.
Big Show holding his own though. Oh!
Look at that.
And Big Show trying to move the Grand He's got him.
Big Show's a...
He's got to stay in the circle. Big Show must stay within that circle. One foot down and he's eliminated.
Show's a few inches away. They're both looking at that Mawashi.
Using that Mawashi to build for leverage here.
Gotta try and get lower if you can.
Big Show trying to use his strength, but he ran into a brick wall. When's the last time you saw Big Show run into a man-to-man box?
Never.
We're going to call a little start here. Look at right now.
Big Show showing them not intimidated. And a collision.
Big Show trying to use those thrusting techniques.
Uh-oh.
Lower trying to back Big Show up here. Big Show, whoa! They have him here. Big Show eliminated by Akebono.
Wow.
Bipolar.
So was that maybe one of the moments where Big Show said to himself, where he felt embarrassed, quote unquote? Is that maybe why he jumped to AEW? Listen, I don't know, and his age, what more you could really accomplish. Whatever he's accomplished, he's pretty much accomplished everything in WWE that there is. He even had his own reality show. But, the man knows his body more than we do, and he's out there and he's trying to make a living. So we'll see what happens. And I know we probably have been spending way too much time on the Big Show. But, good signing if it's staying in the back, being a commentator, being a role model. Really, bad signing if he plans on actually being involved in storylines and actually wrestling. AEW Revolution card. Thoughts, predictions. Think this should be a good card. Rio and Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel. This is during the buy-in pre-show. It's hard really to get too excited about this match. Baker and Rosa are cornerstones, of the women's division moving forward. This match kind of feels like a throwaway to me. I'm gonna go with Britt Baker and Rebel. They will win. The Casino Tag Team Royale. With 15 teams in the match, there's a lot to dig through, including the fact that there are 3 teams representing the Dark Order. There are plenty of teams you could cross off from winning a future title shot, because there's just not enough value in that future match. Pac and Phoenix picking up the win would make for a very exciting, title match down the road. Pac, Ray Phoenix, I think they will win. Miro and Skip Sabin versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Since Miro has come in, and this is kind of like what I said in the beginning. Stop, start. Miro hasn't really set AEW on fire. He was, to me, a hot free agent. Hasn't really set anything on fire with AEW. Maybe that's, still feels like he needs wins and spotlight like this. While Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, they're such solid fan favorites, you could always lose. They could always lose and still they'll be able, I think, to bounce back. And they still keep all their fanfare. I think it's not about wins and losses for Cassidy and Chuck Taylor at this point. Miro, Kip, especially Miro, hasn't been really doing much of anything. This alliance I do not get, but I think Miro and Kip Sabian, they win this tag match. Face of the Revolution ladder match. Cody Rhodes versus Scorpio Sky versus Penta versus Lance Archer versus Max Caster versus, TBT, to be determined. The winner earning a TNT Championship match. Should be a great match. Should be great, but it's hard really to make a prediction without knowing who the mystery participant is, right? Given all information, feels like now would be a kind of a good time to let Penta know, or rather to have Penta have a run as a singles star. That's adding to our depth pick, rather to your pick of fellow whatchamacallit, well, Penta will win that match. Penta. Hangman Adam Page versus Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy. Big money match. Big money match. Big money Matt. Page feels like he's sort of spinning his wheels, I think, awaiting the opportune time for a run at the world title. The stipulation, which sees the winner receives the loser's earnings for the first quarter of 2021. Opens up a few storylines where Page could lose, but a win makes more sense for a future world champ. I think Adam Page wins. I don't see a reason why Matt Hardy would be getting a title win at this point. Young Bucks versus the Inner Circle. There's a lot going on between the struggles within the Inner Circle and the Bucks' issues with the Good Brothers. The Bucks don't really need the titles, and there are a lot of kind of interesting adventures that open up with Jericho and MJF as champions. But, it's who wins this match, and I think the Inner Circle wins the titles, probably too. AEW World's Heavyweight the Women's Championship match. You're going to have Rio versus Shida. Looking at this, I think Shida retains the title. Could be outstanding, but at the same time, will Shida's lengthy reign come to an end? I don't know. Rio, when you look at Rio, had to grind through the eliminator tournament to kind of earn her title shot. But it's unclear, if that means AEW is really to put a title on her. There's a lot of importance in kind of picking the right moment to end the longest title reign in company history, because the person who wins the belt gets a huge rub from that. And just a lot of, I think a lot of eyes will be on this women's match. Sting and Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks in the street fight. We need to do a street fight to kind of, again, I can't believe Sting is wrestling, but he knows his body, and his doctors apparently are satisfied and willing to give the green light. But it's going to be something to see. Sting, Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. I think I already said that. Hiding Sting's limitations, but it's very unlikely much of the heavy, lifting. Still, the Allin and Sting package kind of can't lose this match in the spot without it being massively deflating. Who do I pick? I think it's going to go Darby Allin and Sting. Sting coming back, you got to make him look happy, you got to make him look nice. Sting does win. The AEW World Championship, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, in an exploding barbed wire death match. There's no way AEW shifts the title back to Moxley right now. No way. There's simply no good reason to do so. And that said, it's an exploding barbed wire. Exploding barbed wire. How many people are going out to see that? Exploding barbed wire. But my pick will be Kenny Omega to retain the title. Yeah, it's the card that's stacked, and hopefully you guys will like the card. Young Bucks versus Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle. Yeah, Chris Jericho and MJF. There's a lot going on here between the struggles with the Inner Circle and the Bucks, their issues with the Good Brothers. The Bucks don't really need the titles and are a lot of interesting, and there are a lot of interesting revenues that are open with, with Jericho and MJF always, working side by side there. I think the Inner Circle wins the titles. You're going to have, Jericho and MJF, walking around like they own the joint. So, I'm going to think that you're going to see him win the title. Again, for that Sting and Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks match, I'm going to go with Sting and Darby Allin win. Let's see what else do we have here. That's the AEW Revolution pay-per-view card. Should be good. Should be good. And listen, like I said before, if you don't like something, you don't have to obviously, watch it. It's not for everyone. Right back, guys. We'll leave you with Paul Wight. Make some big promises in his AEW debut.
If I should stay.
My guest and my co-host is absolutely the biggest athlete in professional wrestling. I haven't worked with him for a long, long time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to AEW officially, Paul Wight.
Big ovation for the big man. Welcome to Dynamite, Paul Wight. And the biggest wrestler, the largest broadcaster, JR. No doubt about it. Well, there's your broadcast team right there.
I want to tell you, Paul, or G as I call you, man, it's going to be great working with you side by side. And welcome to Dynamite. Welcome to Only Wrestling. You can hear the fan.
I love it. Hey, raise your hand if you saw this turn coming. Honestly, Tony, you know what? You've known me since I had long hair and a bright future. So we've known each other a long time. And I just want to say how incredibly happy I am to be here at AEW. Definitely. Starting out on TNT, and then I get a chance to come back to TNT after all this time. It's an unbelievable honor to be here, and I look forward to working with the amazing talent here at AEW. And you and I have an opportunity to work together. Because Tony Schiavone and I will be heading up a new show on AEW called Elevation. Well, I will get a chance to do a passion of mine and do some great color commentating on some amazing AEW talent. And just so you know that I'm taking my color commentating job seriously, Tony, you're not the only one that gets the big scoops, buddy.
Really? What do you mean?
I have the biggest scoop ever. This Sunday at Evolution, AEW is going to hire, put in contract, a Hall of Fame worthy talent that is a huge surprise and a huge asset to AEW. Yeah, but listen, it's not who you think. But this Sunday, you're going to find out who it is, and I want you to know that I knew who it was first. Tune in to find out who we get.
All right, that from Paul Wight, and a big announcement, a major announcement coming up Sunday.
We
We make USAA Renters Insurance for the stuff you love. Because if it's worth lugging up 5 floors, it's worth protecting for as low as 33 cents a day. It's that simple. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
And we're back, ladies and gerbils. It's, again, as you heard in that clip, it's kind of talking about mystery, Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame worthy talent is going to join AEW. And Tony Khan said on Twitter when asked about a question, listen, all fingers are pointing to the world is waiting, watching to know which wrestler, what's the next wrestler to sign with AEW on the Revolution pay-per-view. And that's a pretty damn good question. And I wondered to myself, who could it be as well? I'm thinking, how this goes out on a stretch when they call him Hall of Fame worthy. It could be Ryback. Yeah, it could be Ryback. But then Tony Khan mentioned that this wrestler's on there on his Mount Rushmore. And he's mentioned Rock, Hogan, Angle, names like this. And there's many a speculation as to who will be. Mm-hmm.